Hi, Bev and John. How are you doing?
We are fabulous.
Well,
We
I know
couldn't
you're
do better.
fabulous. And
We
so
are
I,
we're currently in Colorado pet sitting and loving the Colorado summer.
Yes, it's much cooler than in Arizona.
really, oh, so it's
Oh,
light
yeah.
relief, is it?
Yeah, it's nice relief.
Fantastic. Wonderful. And so have you done much house sitting in the last year? I know there have been challenges with travel and the pandemic, but it's good to hear that you're house sitting again. Can you tell us a little bit about the steps you've taken to get ready for travel nationally and internationally?
Sure. We were, let's see, a year ago, March. Is that right? We came back from Mexico to do a pet sit in Washington, but the pandemic had hit and that sit got canceled. And so, which was great because it actually brought us back to the States. And
Yeah.
we flew back home. I think we were 17 people on this big, huge jet, heading back to Arizona. And we stayed in Arizona for about 5 months, pretty much watching what was happening, getting our shots, making sure everything was a little better under control. And then in August, we decided we really needed to get on the road a little bit and and see what was.
We got itchy feet is what we got.
Oh, you're addicts, you're travel addicts.
We are, and we were listening to the news, and actually we decided we were going to listen to it a lot less because it can really create a lot of fear. And so we decided we were going to get bigger than the fear and in our car drive out to Santa Fe. So it was only about 7 hours, very manageable in our own environment. We had control of that. Stay at an Airbnb after making sure the owner of the Airbnb was doing the protocol for COVID, and we had our little cleaning thing. So it was our first foray really into getting out there into the big world.
Right.
And it was phenomenal. We were hiking through Santa Fe. There was no one on the trails, and loving going through the art district of Santa Fe and window shopping. A lot of the stores weren't open, but that was fine with us. And so we said, okay, this is not such a bad world after all.
No. And even before we went there, we didn't allow the pandemic to shut us down personally. A lot of people we know, we have several friends who haven't left the house in now 18 months. They have their groceries delivered. They're petrified of the world out there. And we just were determined not to let that happen.
Okay.
Now, we don't go to places where there's a lot of people. We prefer animals. Even when we travel to pet sit, we don't go out to dinner. We like to cook. We like to eat at home. We do the pet sitting so that we can be with animals rather than going to restaurants. So it wasn't really a serious problem for us, even when we were working at this horse therapy ranch, because we were kind of by ourselves. And then we got itchy feet with Santa Fe. Bev told you about that. And then we applied for a sit in New Orleans. And we drove across country. Now, we had decided, for 5 years, we did international pet sitting, and we were only in the United States for a little over 3 months in 5 years.
Gosh.
So we had said, this is a good break. It'd be a chance for us to see the United States. So if people are going to get back on their feet, pet sitting, our recommendation would be to start local.
Yeah.
And to experience it a little bit more. If you're in a country that has very, very tight regulations, then don't travel away from that country. Just try to do sits in that country. And in our case, we decided to do it in the United States. There weren't a lot of sits, at least not a lot that we were interested in. And we did one in New Orleans. We stayed at a couple of Airbnbs on the way back. Then we got another one on the other side of the country again. and we went to Big Canoe, Georgia.
Oh yeah, from New Orleans, then we came back to Arizona, then we went back to Georgia,
Yeah,
right near the Appalachian Trail. It was really wonderful. And
that was last Christmas.
yeah, it was just, homeowners are so caring and delightful. We were going to be there through Christmas, and they actually put up a Christmas tree for us.
Oh, sweet.
Decorated. They had presents under the tree for us.
Oh.
We had something to open, and all the fireplace, 3 fireplaces, they were all decorated with Christmas. So, when you have that kind of feeling, you suddenly are instant friends. There's this caring for one another. I mean, we cared for them, and we want to make sure they have peace of mind where they're traveling. They had 2 delightful dogs, one big 95-pound pit bull who watched Hallmark movies with me, Christmas movies with me every night.
Sounds like a personality.
Oh, he
was adorable, the sweetest dog.
And then a rambunctious boxer mix.
He was only 12 months old.
It was crazy.
He was nuts. He just was very energetic.
And so once again, we were in a community where people were being careful. They were being cautious. We did some outdoor games like, was it bull? When you throw the ball, was it something like bull?
Oh yeah, bull, yes.
Yes. And it was outside. And
bocce ball.
Bocce ball, that's what it was. And
okay.
we had the neighbors, but they were careful and we were careful. And we went, okay, this is really working out. And so our comfort level was getting better. When we first started pet sitting, our very first pet sit, we decided to do it nationally in driving distance to kind of build up that familiarity so you're not as nervous. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We were doing little steps. There was a lot of news coming out, and so we were trying to stay on top of that and being just cautious. So from there, we went down to Florida, which was crazy. Florida was quite busy. And
insane. You would have thought there was no pandemic at
wow.
all, ever. The highways were jam-packed full of cars. The restaurants inside and out were crowded.
So once again, we backed away and we followed our own rules. And we had a wonderful time in the Everglades because no one was there. And Biscayne Park. And we found a tiny little village we stayed in up by the Panhandle. And so once again, we're building our awareness of how to stay safe, and had a delightful time. Came back to Arizona. No, we went back up to Georgia.
Big Canoe. Because
the homeowners had a challenge and they needed to go back to be with their son and daughter-in-law. So we said, sure, we'll just.
And on the way to, we were at Big Canoe the first time, the month of December. On the way to Big Canoe, we stopped in Austin, Texas to do a very short, just a few days around Thanksgiving, pet sit. So we were getting used to it. We were getting the feel of it. Big Canoe was a big responsibility because it was for a month. And then they asked us to stay a little bit longer. And then they asked us to come back. So we took a break and we drove to Florida.
Right. So it was great. So by this time we're feeling okay. It's good. In the US, no problem. Pet sitting is, there are a lot less pet sits, only because people they don't know what to do. And a lot of them are traveling to different places and things are changing every day. The other little thing that has changed, there are several things that have changed since the olden days of pet sitting. There are a lot less longer sits, and we like to do a month or more generally. We kind of get into a great rhythm after the first week, and we love that rhythm. And there are not that many month long or more. The other thing is that the homeowners are unsure, and so very often you'll see date changes. So where in the olden days of pet sitting, we used to do back to back, pretty much one on top of the other we are being a little more careful about leaving a cushion between the sits. And so that's changed. And other than that, when we write our letter, you know, when we see an advertisement that we like, and then we answer with an email, in the email, we make it crystal clear we are vaccinated, we've had double vaccinations, and that we are very, very conscious and mindful of what's happening. And so we promise that we will be that way around them and their pets. First email. Which I think is really important, just to help create peace of mind.
Well, that's wonderful. It sounds like you're setting yourself some high standards and you're following those protocols. But also it sounds like your hosts are being great hosts. I mean, people are being very considerate, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
They are.
I think, yeah, once again, this is a great group of people. We have done 50 or so pet sits, and it is a village of people who really care. We have people who, I mean, the people we're here right now, she's emailing me and saying, oh, I meant to tell you there's a pillow here and there's a blanket over there. And there's also this great reservoir you might want to go to, which they're on the road. She just cares so much that we are comfortable here. And we likewise, our primary objective is to bring peace of mind to the homeowners. And so what can we do to make sure they know that everything is just working fine here, right?
Yeah, and I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. We don't act like tourists when we're on the road. Our responsibility is the home and the pets. Now, we like being around the pets, so we're not interested in doing a bunch of touring. We do that after the pet sit.
Yeah.
And it just works for us. And you can get a sense, if you do video calls like we're doing now, you can, as we did with the people from Spain recently, you get a very strong sense of who they are. And when you get a sense of who they are, you get a sense of what their animals are like. Because our experience is the behavior of the animal mirrors the behavior of the homeowner.
That's interesting. Yes, the training, I think, is reflected, isn't it? And the discipline around that, and the care as well, the gentleness, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah, there is the odd animal who is, you know, quite individual, but mostly they follow the rule. Yes.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so tell me about the house sit in Spain. So now you've been telling us about venturing out and house sitting and pet sitting nationally and venturing a little further every time. And now you've got your skates on. It sounds like you're headed out to Spain to this wonderful Housesit Match house sit. So tell us about that and how you prepared for that.
Yeah, well, when we finally looked at each other and said, okay, this is feasible. I'm not afraid. I think everything's fine. We know what to do. We know what we're looking for. We were really eager to get into the international arena. We weren't going to do this domestic thing until we were a lot older. I mean, we're already old, but I mean a lot older. Because it's easier traveling. And so we wanted to do more the far-reaching travel while we were, you know, really agile and youthful and feeling
all right,
energetic.
move on.
So we looked on your site, and actually we emailed you first. And we looked on your site, and we wanted to go with you because we didn't want one of those big platforms where you really there was no personal care. So our little baby step was, okay, let's see what she has to offer. Let's see what she has to say. And you're so careful about the people you pick for your platform that we knew we were feeling very assured that Housesit Match was going to be what we wanted to first try. And we did. Yeah. We contacted you. You said there might be one coming up in Spain. We told you we wanted to be in Spain or Portugal. And a great sit came up, a phenomenal couple, very positive, very energetic, with two huge labs that I think they're lap dogs. And, gosh, we must have had a 45-minute conversation.
It was about 45 minutes. It's in a little village it's in the Costa del Sol, so it's in the south of Spain, and it's about 40 minutes from Malaga, which is very south, right on the beach. So if you're inclined, you've got access to Malaga, you've got access to Marbella, you've got access to other little villages in the area, but this is all we need. I mean, it's a small little community that has a couple of restaurants and a butcher and a
bar,
patisserie and a bar, which one of the labs loves to go to, by the way. He's a,
It's a well-worn
beer.
He's a fan of beer.
He orders a beer.
They've limited him to twice a week.
So I know these people are going to be fun.
And so if we wanted to, get with big crowds, we probably can't, which was perfect for us. And then when we met them on a Zoom call, they're just a delightful couple. They're a professional couple. They've done extensive travel. In fact, I think they're headed for the US, not back to England, but they're not sure about any of that
Or
because
Portugal, I think.
That's right.
They're going
That's
back to
right.
Portugal, actually. Yeah. They're driving.
Oh,
But, on our Zoom call, we're very, very candid. We tell them what we feel about this whole situation. Their house is tidy. It's organized, which is important to us because we just want to make sure that things are, up to snuff. And we want to have fun. I mean, we like a couple that knows how to smile and enjoy life. And so that's who they be. And it was pretty much instant. I mean, we knew right away.
For us, it was, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and at the end of the call, he said, well, what do you think? You think it'll work out? We said, yeah, we think so.
Oh,
I
that's
thought it was
wonderful.
a pretty good sign when he offered to pick us up at the airport.
That's always a good sign. Yes, that's
That
great.
doesn't happen very often.
So now you've been to Spain before, right?
I have. He hasn't.
I have not.
All right.
I
So
was
it's the first
planning.
time. Oh, great.
So it was high on our list of where we wanted to go. And so.
And what steps have you taken to check what you need visa-wise and, in terms of entry, because you're double vaccinated, you both said, but have you got your e-passport for vaccination so you can demonstrate that on your phone? What steps have you taken to explore what's needed before you cross borders?
Yeah, we have to do that. You have to, it's a constant thing though, Lamia, because it changes so much. So this sit is in October, right?
Correct.
He's good with the dates. So we'll probably wait just a wee bit more and then look again and make sure everything's okay. They've changed re-entry into the US for a lot of the EU people now. So that was just a recent change. So it's in flux. So I think we are all aware of that. One precaution, we are going to go online, we get all the documentation. And if we have to be tested at the airport, we'll get tested at the airport. Or if they want to test within 3 days before we leave, we will do that. At this point, that's not what they need, but they may want it as we get closer. So we know we might have to do that. We also have decided we're going to go in a few days early because we're not quite sure. We're hearing about a lot of planes being canceled and kind of funny travel stuff happening. So rather than worry about it, make it really tight, we're giving ourselves a lot of cushion. And we'll probably go to the Picasso Museum maybe if it's open. We'll see what happens.
Well, we were reading online this morning, and as of September 6th, I think that's today or tomorrow.
Today.
There's new rules to go into Spain.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they change it with a high degree of regularity, as Bev said. The EU issues these proclamations about what they want, and some of the countries follow and some of them don't follow, and some of the countries make it more severe and others. So as Bev said, we follow it, and who knows what's going to happen.
Okay, and well, it sounds like you're taking all the precautions and you're staying in tune. And now, are you also taking out travel insurance just to make sure in case there is a slip in terms of the timing of the plane, if there's a delay? Are you taking out travel insurance to make sure that you are covered either way?
We tend to use points on miles for
Right.
when we travel great distances like this. And one of the cards that we use mileage for has travel insurance attached to it.
Right.
So we're covered assuming we use that card. If we didn't use that card, right now, I would buy travel insurance. It's well worth it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think one of the things that I really need to point out here is that if you're traveling right now, you've just got to be flexible, adaptable, be fluid, not get uptight when schedules get changed or planes get held up. You just have to cool down and relax and do whatever you have to do. If that's deep breathing or do what we're doing, like cushion it with a lot of days just in case something might happen, because there's a real likelihood things are going to change.
We laugh all the time because we travel for sometimes 12 months at a time with a very small suitcase and a backpack each. That's it. It's all carry-on. However, in Bev's backpack, she has plenty of toys. She has, you know, her phone and her computer and iPad and crossword puzzles.
And
so you could be stranded anywhere, and as long as you've got the case, you're absolutely fine.
Absolutely.
I'm just as happy as could be. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have to say, it sounds very exciting, and I'm excited for you. And I hope we can have another chat while you're out there, see what it's like and what you've enjoyed.
That would be a lot of fun. Actually, we are hoping to be there. We are hoping to get another pet sit after in Spain after this one, and so that would be great to be there for a couple of months because we're supposed to be flying to Mexico after that, to San Miguel.
Oh, wonderful! Yes, I've never been there, but I hear it's absolutely stunning.
Oh, it's a wonderful place to be.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
So I say, take off, people. Enjoy the world. It's beautiful. Just be mindful and keep on top of the ever changes that are happening. You know, every day there are changes, and just go with the flow. Just enjoy life. Every day is important.
Wonderful. Well, listen, thank you very much, both of you. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I wish you lots of luck. Bon voyage, as they say, and keep in touch.
We'll talk to you. We'll speak soon.
Please do. Yes. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.